What's the difference between an average bass line and one that just drips with groove and sweat and funk and all that good stuff? In this case, the answer, the difference, is ghost notes. Hi, I'm Luke from Become a Bassist, and in this lesson you're going to learn exactly how to play ghost notes and how you can use them to have a deeper groove. Plus I'll walk you through the 6 levels of ghost notes so you can do it all yourself. Welcome to Become a Bassist, where it's all about no BS bass lessons designed to get you playing better bass, having more fun, and becoming the best bassist you can be. And this time around, we're talking spooky ghost notes. But seriously though, ghost notes, they just sound cool, right? Who wouldn't want to get really good at playing ghost notes? I know I would, so here's how to do it. Now, just in case you don't know what a ghost note is, it's really simple. It's a note that's either so short it has no tonal center, like this. See how we're not really getting an actual note there? It's just kind of a rhythmic thud. It's either that, or it's a note that is still super short, but it's just long enough so you can actually get like a tiny little note out of it. So you might get something like this. Just like that. So there's still the note there, but it's just super short. But it is actually a note. It's not just kind of a random thud with a rhythm. So that's what they are and roughly how they sound. So how do you actually play them? That's a great question. To play ghost notes, you need to shorten up and mute your notes pretty dramatically sometimes. And there's really 2 ways to do that, either with your plucking hand or with your fretting hand. First up, let's talk the plucking hand. Now normally, if you're just playing non-spooky, kind of regular old non-ghost notes, you'd probably just do something like this. You know, just pluck the pluck out of the string and just let it ring, yeah? If you're looking to play some ghost notes though, you'll need to stop it ringing with either your index or your middle finger. So, see how my finger comes over and stops it from ringing? And you can do that with either finger. You can use your index to mute, pardon me, hey pup, or you can use your middle to mute. You know, it's all good either way. Ideally, you'll know how to use both. So check this out. If I just play a straight 8th bass line, I'll just kind of start off by letting it ring, and then gradually I'll use my plucking hand more and more to shorten up the notes, and then get more and more. Yeah, until the notes get super short. Do you see how that works? It's all in the plucking hand muting. And that's just playing on the open A string. Now you might have already noticed a problem here. If you do this, you can end up with harmonics that you don't want in there, like there. Yeah, and to solve that problem, we actually have to use the fretting hand to mute as well. Here's how. With the fretting hand, it's the same basic concept. You're using your fingers to just stop the string from ringing. And the simplest way to do that is to just lift your finger up from whatever note you're playing. So for example, if I'm playing this E flat right here, and I just lift up my finger, the note will stop, right? That's the very simplest version. But you can run into the same harmonics problem depending on, you know, which notes you play. So check this out. If I play this D right here, if I pluck that D and lift my finger up, you get that harmonic. Hear it? Yeah, if you want to, you know, get really super clean ghost notes though, you can fix this by just enlisting the other fingers in the hand to mute the string. So if I play the D with my index finger, instead of just lifting it up like this and letting the harmonic kind of ring through, I'm going to get my other fingers to come down ever so slightly and graze the string in multiple places. So check it out. Up with the index finger, down with the other strings. No harmonic. Yeah? The string can't vibrate at all. And by the way, you can do the same thing if you play with your middle finger. Yeah, the ring finger. It doesn't really matter. Also the pinky as well. It's actually easier with the pinky because you can just kind of lift up your pinky and the other fingers are already in place for you, so it's really handy there. It doesn't matter if your other fingers graze the strings above or below the note on the string. As long as the string stays silent, you're pretty much golden. So how do you use these ghost notes? Well, now that you have your fretting hands and your plucking hands working together, or no, your plucking hand and fretting hand working together, you can put ghost notes wherever you want, and you can make notes as long or as short as you want, which can totally change how a bass line sounds, how it feels, how it relates to the drum groove, everything. Now, one super important groove principle is that shorter notes will tend to give a feeling of forward momentum, whereas longer notes will give the impression of kind of relaxing in the time, even if the speed of the song doesn't change. That means that in general, using lots of ghost notes is going to propel any bass line forward. Check this out, it's the bass line from the very start of the video. Yeah, this is kind of like our level 1 version of this bass line, and it kind of sounds like a medieval church choir. Super long notes, 0 ghost notes at all. So just la 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 la. Yeah, like super pristine, not really dirty, definitely not funky, right? But let's start gradually add more and more ghost notes in. The first thing you can do to elevate this kind of very clean, very pristine bass line to a level 2 bass line is just shorten up every note just a tiny little bit. So instead of getting this, you get this kind of thing. Yeah, we haven't changed a thing about what we're playing. We've just changed how we're playing it. Think of your right hand here as being like the 16th notes of a drummer. Yeah, really short notes. Now I'm keeping the 8th notes a bit longer here, so the ones at the start of the bars. There, because you do want them to have, a bit more impact than everything else, but pretty much all the other 16ths are shorter, and that's all thanks to the right hand. It's doing pretty much all the shortening of the notes right now. By the way, if you need the tabs and the notation for all these 6 levels we're going through, as well as the practice track I'm using for this lesson, just click the first link in the description, fill out the form on that page. I'd be more than happy to send it to you 100% free. Okay, but let's start adding some actual ghosties in there and take this to level 3. Let's add the first one in the first bar. Let's replace the second C right here. Instead of that one there, or the C on the G string, replace the second one with a little ghost note. So right after that first C, yeah, little sneaky ghost note on the same string, on the G string, or maybe even on the D string. That's fine too. Either is totally fine. So we get this. Yeah, so just replacing that first one there. Super, super rhythmic, very cool. And let's add one in the second bar as well. So that second 8th note, you can split that into 2 16ths, and the second one can be a ghost note. So instead of this, we get yeah, here it starts to kind of propel the feel of the bass line a little bit more. Now with the track, this is what we get with the level 3 bass line. Yeah, getting a bit more forward movement. If you wanted to add even more, you could absolutely do that and take this to like a level 4 kind of ghost note bass line. So let's add another ghost note in that second bar. Now this A right here, when we go, let's break that into 2 16ths and make the second one a ghost note. And you can do that on the existing string or the string below it. Either is going to work fine. Yeah. Now, you might notice a pattern developing here. A lot of the time, when there's an 8th note, it's being split into 2 16ths, and the second one becomes a ghost note. Now, that's not like a hard rule or anything. That's just what's going on here. So, level 4 with the track. Yeah, just a tiny bit more in the way of ghost notes. Now what we have so far is miles better than that first version, but there is even more that we can do. So what's in level 5? Well, it's adding even more spooky, spooky ghost notes. And we'll do it right here in this little phrase. Yeah, that little walk up from the 2nd fret up to the 5th. Now, we don't need to play every single note for its full length. So let's take every 2nd note and play it as a ghost note. Yeah, so with everything else so far, we've got... Yeah, pretty cool, right? Now there's one more place we can add even more ghost notes, and it's that fun little walk up at the end of the 2nd bar, the... right there. We can do the exact same thing we just did with the level 5 line and mute every 2nd note. Yeah. Note, ghost note, note, ghost note, note, ghost note, note, ghost note. And again, you can do that on the existing string, or you can do it on the string underneath. That's going to be fine. Yeah, so with the whole track, it sounds like this. Yeah, huge difference. When we do this, we've almost got more ghost notes than actual notes. And the actual notes we are playing, a lot of them are super short, yeah? Have a listen to the difference between our first level, our level 1, and our level 6 ghost note line. Our level 1 one was like this. Yeah, super long notes, no ghost notes at all. If we go to our level 6 bass line, we'll have this. Yeah, super short notes, lots of ghost notes. Again, such a big difference. Now, as far as how far you want to take these things, that's totally up to you. Think of ghost notes as a spice when you're cooking. Some people love spice. They like lather everything in hot sauce and habanero chili flakes. And other people say, oh, is that black pepper in that? Oh, no, that's too spicy for me. If you want to go crazy putting ghost notes in every single little place, then of course you can. It'll depend on what's going on in the music you're playing. Like, you know, obviously you wouldn't put hot sauce on your cereal in the morning. Actually, I take that back. There's probably some madman out there who does it every day. But the point is that when you can control your ghost notes, you can control how the music sounds and feels, and you can really use your own personal taste. It's really important when you do this that you try and make it as musical as possible. Nobody wants to sound robotic. That's not cool. And the solution is to just practice phrases that are actually musical, actually music. And if you want to practice this exact phrase from this lesson, you can download the tabs and notations of the 6 levels of ghost notes, and of course the practice track I'm using in this video as well, totally free. And if you want it, just click right here and you can get started mastering your ghost notes in less than 60 seconds. I would love to see you in there, so I'll catch you soon.